There'll be people that'll push back. But I want to give you a brief history on slavery. I was just amazed, I got to tell you. I mean, when you come to America and you talk to people about slavery, you can talk to black people about slavery, white people about slavery, and they'll give you all this history on slavery, and it only goes back to the 16th and the 17th century. And you're like, don't they teach you the history of slavery? Why? Ask the bloody question. Why are they only teaching you the history of slavery as far back as the 16th and the 17th century? Why are they only going that far back?
Fair use.
You've got to go further back. And you've got to understand and question, why do they do this throughout the whole of America, in all the public schools? Why do they only go back as far as the 16th and the 17th century to talk about slavery? We've got to go further back than that. Because Islam designed infernal slavery. And then the Ashkenazi Khazars, those who say they are Jews and are not, are the ones that marketed it. And the regal Negro nomads exiled from the kingdom of Judah were the main recipients of it at the hands of the indigenous black Africans. Because you've got to understand, the regal class of the house of Judah came down from Israel, and they came into the land of the black Africans. And the black Africans resented the regal class of the house of Judah in their land because they had laws, they had customs, they had civility, and they were a regal class of Negro that came down into Africa. And later on, it was the Ashkenazi, the Islamic slave traders as well, that then worked together with the indigenous black Africans to enslave the regal house of Judah. This is what we've got to understand, but you've got to go back before the 16th century to understand the roots of it. So we're going to see, as we dig into this, where this slavery came from, because it was really a system that was very, very well crafted. There was Islamic masters, and there were white Ashkenazi Khazar ship owners. There were the buyers and the sellers. And they're not going to fill you in on all of this, but really you've got a four-tier system. Number one, you have the Negro nomads that were exiled from the kingdom of Judah. Number two, you had indigenous black African hunters that resented the regal Negro nomads that had come into their territory with their own customs, with their own laws that were different and would not assimilate into their tribal culture. They were their own tribe. They were the regal house of Judah. Number three, you had Islamic trappers that worked with the indigenous black Africans to trap the regal Negro house of Judah.
We talked about this last week, some African tribes that don't like us. And that's what he's talking about. They work to trap us. He's spitting right now. I'm letting him go.
And then you had them sell them to the Ashkenazi ship merchants. Did enough to go further back. Do you know how many blacks in America have been lost to Islam? It's outrageous. Wow. That's not your tribe. Your tribe is Judah. Muhammad's tribe enslaved you. Why would you convert to Muhammad's tribe when you're of King David's tribe? Don't convert to the tribe that enslaved you and then sold you to Ashkenazi ship merchants. More black Negroes have been
He's referring to Ishmael,
in
the descendants of Ishmael, when he says that, for those that are listening.
Bible-believing
hold on. Let me pause it.
Because they don't want...
Go ahead. Say it loud for the people in the back.
No, I'm just saying that what he's referring to is the descendants of Ishmael. That's what he's referring to, who's enslaved us, the Muslims, Islam. Pretty much, even though they don't have it written in the Quran, but they teach that they are descendants of Ishmael versus Isaac.
Don't want you to know who you really are and what tribe you're from, but you're not from Muhammad's tribe. Never were. Never were. You are a regal Negro class from the royal house of Judah. It's outrageous to me. Islam is not the black man's religion. It's for those of the Banu Hasham clan of the Quraysh tribe. That's who it's for. It's not from the tribe of Judah. Never was, never will be. It was never the religion of the Negro nomads in Africa.
Hey, Moxie, can you pause real quick?
Kingdom of Judah.
Yeah, no problem.
In Joel chapter 3, verse...
This is the stuff, and I'm not trying to throw shots, but I am throwing a shot. What he's referring to is the descendants of Ishmael. That's what he's referring to, who's enslaved us, the Muslims, Islam. pretty much, even though they don't have it written in the Quran, but they teach that they are descendants of Ishmael versus Isaac.
Don't want you to know who you really are and what tribe you're from, but you're not from Muhammad's tribe. Never were. Never were. You are a regal Negro. It talks about these indigenous black Africans in collusion with the Ashkenazi because they were selling the Negro House of Judah to the Greeks. And who did the Greeks? The Greeks, they invented democracy, didn't they? Didn't they just? You see, Africans weren't selling their own people. They were selling a tribe that had encroached upon their land, a higher educated, regal class that had judges, coppersmiths, goldsmiths, and all of this, and they did not assimilate in, and they wanted their stuff, and they wanted to get paid by Islam, and Islam wanted to get paid by the Ashkenazi ship merchants. The Igbo tribe of Africa, they're Jewish. If you were to look, I mean, if you were to look, just look at old maps.
Hey, Moxie, real quick.
African slaving maps. I think it's Guinea in maybe in the 1720s, 1730s. There's this old map, and it's called a Slave Coast map. Look on that. It's the Slave Coast map of Guinea, 1736. And you look on the West Africa map of 1747, and it says right on the West Africa map of 1747, Kingdom of Judah. Right there on the map. On the 1747 Slave Coast map, Desert of Seth. Well, who was Seth? He was Adam and Eve's third son after the death of who? Abel. Desert of Seth, right there on an African slaving map. Luke chapter 3, verse 38, we're talking about the genealogy of Yahusha from the tribe of Judah. Verse 38, the son of Enosh, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, the son of Elohim. But by 1771, the very same map, even with the same cartographer that did the map of 1747, all of a sudden, by 1771, oh, they got wise to it. And there is no Kingdom of Judah no more on that map. Disappeared. Same map, 1771 map, that was in the 1747 map. Why would he do that? You see, you've got to go further back, because the more we go along this timeline, in this day that we have, people don't understand what has gone on in the past. And we are making the very same mistakes as we come to this apocalyptic time of days that we're living in. We're enslaved. But all of those areas around what we call today the Slavic regions, they were, of course, enslaved by Islam.
You got that water.
What's the number one slaving country today? What's the number one country that America is economically, politically in bed with? The number one slaving country in the world today, Saudi Arabia. Our whole currency is connected to a slaving country that enslaves women, children, and men from all over the world. And they say nothing. And they're funding our politicians. And you don't think this message is relevant? Because people do, oh, well, let's just stick to, safe and secure. Meanwhile, we're all going down the street to destruction. Map, 1770. Really think they care what color your skin is? They just want to enslave you all, but they don't want you.
The trailer for the movie. So let's get into it. I made some notes. Let's get into it.
You never thought this day would come. And no, it is not a dream. It's very real.